Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Tayo Salam. Many thanks for joining us again. All right, this is what the show looks like. We're starting off, of course, the Nigerian Professional Football League. While other leagues are rounding up in Europe, the Nigerian Professional Football League is still on March day 22. And we're doing a comprehensive preview of all the games slated for this weekend.
Especially that of Aqua United and Rangers. That's the big game to watch out for this weekend. Also on the program, expectedly, Rivers Coopers lost to USM. Or was it East Pass or Cruz Pass? Yes. They lost by 29 points. Their opening game, they lost by 23. And the second one, they lost by 29 points. But playing against a team that is favorite for the title, you will say, not a bad loss.
Are you kidding me? Really? 29-point loss. Anyways, we talked about the test, the Monster test for the Rivers Hoopers yesterday on the show, and it's safe to say they failed that test. It's as simple as that. Also on the show, still in basketball, but this time in the NBA, the Wizards are through to the playoffs after overwhelming the Indiana Pacers in the final play-in round game.
Yeah, Indiana Pacers got what they sent to another team to get here. Okay, we're starting off with, yes, the NBA, right?
Yes.
Just one game, last night they play in a tournament. So started with that.
Let's see the results of that game.
Confirmation of the results of that game where you have the Washington Wizards were 142.
They don't come bigger than that. They don't come more convincing than that, 142 to 115. Of course, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal were the stars of the show. They made sure the Wizards qualified for the playoffs after a horrendous start to the season.
Yes. Okay, we have I guess we're joining us to talk about the NBA and, of course, the Basketball Africa League this morning. Talking about Bamidele.
Kenny Bamidele,
Bamidele will be joining us from Ibadan to review the games for today. But then, before he joins us, we'll just talk about what happened between the Wizards and the Pacers. Okay, Bamidele is ready to join us. Bamidele, good morning. It's good to have you join us. Okay, I think while we're waiting for... But I tell you, we're talking about the fact that you have Bradley Beal having the very best 25 points. 25 points. Russell Westbrook added 18 points, 15 assists, a double-double display for them to end this season. As you mentioned, they started so badly. It was so bad. Their first... how many? 6 at the time. They were 6-17. They won just 6 games and losing 17 at the start.
That was how they started, right?
That's how they started.
Let me add to that.
Okay.
Eventually, they won 17 and lost 32. And at that point, you thought, nah, no way this guys are going to make the playoffs. But Russell Westbrook said something during that very, very bad period that he was going to do everything possible to get them in the playoffs. And what did they do after that? They went on a 17-6 run to end the season and managed to sneak into the play-in. And in the play-in against Indiana, we thought were going to be a very tricky customer. Look how they dealt with Indiana. Very, very straightforward victory, 142 to 115. As a matter of fact, they led by 38 points in that game. They could have afforded Bradley Beal to rest in the fourth quarter. Westbrook, on his own part, sat out the last 8 minutes of the game as well. So a very convincing victory for the Wizards. Quite a turnaround after their bad start to the season, but they don't come any tougher in their next game.
The top seed in the East, Philadelphia 76ers, and that starts on Sunday. No time to rest, no time to dwell on this, no time to celebrate the playoffs. They're going straight to... no time to celebrate getting into the playoffs.
Of course,
they're going straight
what are you celebrating for?
The fact that they were able to make it, I think that's what is key right here, because no one gave them a chance. I actually wrote them off. Last time Washington Wizards were in the playoffs was 2017-2018 season. So we were thinking, okay, with the way they started, as you reel out all the stats, we're not even sure of one of the teams that will make it in the East.
Remember, we talked about how they're very lucky to be in the East. And if they can go on a nice little run to end the season, they might sneak into the play-in, and that's exactly what happened. If it was in the West, there's still no chance. Anyways. All right, Cecilia.
Let's listen to the coach first. They are talking about how lucky he is, being able to coach a team like this who was so pumped up, who were so resilient in trying to make the playoffs. And of course, at the end of the day, they made it.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the group. I knew that we would bounce back. I'm glad they did it in the way that we did on both ends of the floor. But what we've been through, I mean, I've said it, documented it, talked about it enough. But it still feels great to anytime you can stick together through some tough times and keep fighting for one another. That's what sport is all about, and that's what teams are all about. And we got a good group of guys. That's why I love coaching this team, because they're always challenging each other and pushing each other, and they deserve a lot of the credit, if not all of the credit, by doing that, because it hasn't been easy for a lot of reasons. But the easy part of it was coaching this group, and that's what makes my job enjoyable.
It wasn't easy, but it was actually worth it, all the troubles he had to go through. But at the end of the day, he had a crop of players who believed. And Russell Westbrook is one of those players who believe that, yes, they can make it. Remember when they signed him at the beginning of the season? I mean, he had a very, very, very horrendous start.
Yeah.
And we were like, why did you leave Rockets? Why didn't he just stay?
But it was traded, you know, so there's not much you can do in that situation. But we thought all along that Russell and Bradley Beal in the backcourt should be enough for Washington to at least make the playoffs, you know, not struggle this way. But anyways, that's in the past now. And the two players are responsible, majorly, of course, responsible for the Wizards are making the playoffs, the postseason. Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook are obviously very, very delighted this morning. Apologies for that mix-up. We're actually trying to listen to Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal speaking after leading the Washington Wizards into the postseason, but they got so excited in there and decided to go straight to the ball.
Of course.
Which, you know, we're going to go there next and all of that.
Do we have a top performance where we do that quickly, Tayo?
Not really. I didn't really see anyone that stood out. Like,
because they all shared the points.
Exactly.
18, 25, 20.
Balanced team effort.
Which is really cool, right? So no superstar.
Anyways, before we leave the NBA quickly, tonight, the Golden State Warriors will attempt to snatch the number 8 seed in the West. They take on the Memphis Grizzlies. That's going to be a very tough one as well.
I think they can do that.
I think they can do it as well. But Memphis
do you have the NBA players without Steph Curry?
Memphis are such a well-rounded side, and I can see Russell is ready to talk to us now. Russell and Bradley Beal, let's take their post-game reactions.
I don't talk just for my health, but honestly, I just wanted to let the team know that, you know, this season, at the time, you know, we were struggling and everybody was doubting us on the outside, and we had to figure out a way to knuckle up and, you know, make the playoffs. Simple as that. I didn't care what happened in the previous games. And moving forward, we had to figure ourselves out, look ourselves in the mirror. I started with myself, and I made it clear to the guys that we will make it.
I mean, we just knew what was at stake. You know, we fought and competed our tails off to put us in the 8th seed to begin with. And, you know, we played a tough one against Boston. We wish we would have got it. But we gave ourselves an opportunity, you know, and it's granted the play-in is double elimination for 7 and 8. So we gave ourselves another opportunity. And, you know, like I said earlier, this is win or go home, you know, and we understood that. And our preparation was like that immediately after we lost to Boston. You know, once we lost to Boston, it was, okay, we're locked in on Indy. So I'm just happy that we were able to get our rest, be locked in, and came out and executed tonight.
There you go, Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards. They've got the work cut out in the first round of the playoffs against Joel Embiid and the top seeds, the Philadelphia 76ers. And talking about Joel Embiid and the 76ers, Joel Embiid has been named as one of the 3 finalists for the regular season MVP. No surprises there because he's had a very fantastic season. Of course, there's also Steph Curry and Nikola Jokic.
Who is favorite for it. Steph Curry crashed into the party because the run is hard. You can't help but just had to put his name. You can't leave him out at all.
Can't leave him out.
So those guys looking for Chris Paul and the other guys, okay, that's a lot this time.
I mean, fair play to those guys. Is that they've had very decent seasons as well,
but then not worthy to be in the top 3. Steph Curry right there. Okay, is my man. Get into the playoffs, man.
Cecilia, I think it's a good time now to bring in Bamidele Kenny from Ibadan Basketball NBA Pundits. Bamidele, good morning. It's great to have you on the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you indeed. Let's just go straight to it. MVP finalist announced late last night. And any surprises? Jokic, Embiid, and Steph Curry.
I'm actually not surprised about that one. I think, the NBA have done a good job by the guys that have actually dropped. I see that LeBron is not even in the top 3. And Toronto, the New York Knicks player, is also not in this one. No doubt, these guys had a superb season, but you can't compare it to what Steph did with the Golden State Warriors.
True.
His individual brilliance has been absolutely ridiculous. And of course, you look at Nikola Jokic. One of the reasons why Jokic is in this team is what he has done to that Denver Nuggets side. When Jamal Murray was out, Nikola Jokic took up the responsibility and he won games for this side, performing consistently. And he's an elite passer. When it comes to passing, you can't, take away Nikola Jokic. And of course, I believe Joel Embiid, from the African perspective, I believe it's a very good one for Joel. He also had a superb season with the Philadelphia 76ers. This is one of their best seasons for the past couple of seasons now. So I believe the 3 finalists for the NBA and regular season MVP, I think is deserved. But the big question is, who is going to get this one? I'm looking at the started Steph Curry with his performance for Golden State Warriors. Take Steph off Golden State Warriors, they will struggle. Take Jokic off, they will struggle. All these 3 players are very important for their various clubs, So, but it's looking like Steph, if Steph is not getting it, Jokic will actually get this one. I don't think Joel Embiid stand a chance of getting it among these 2. It's either Jokic or Steph for me. So these 2 will get the MVP.
Interesting choice indeed. It must be said that Nikola Jokic had one of the best offensive seasons in NBA history, averaging 26.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, and 8.3 assists while shooting 56.6 overall. That's remarkable.
And he played all 72 games this season. He wasn't injured at all.
Unlike the others that had
Embiid who had a timeout when he was injured, and his team were able to carry it on without him.
Exactly.
And Steph Curry, when he was out for a while, his team literally lost the steam. And he came back, he carried them on.
But fair play to
Curry and Jokic.
Yes, between those 2, I believe as well too. For Curry, oldest player to lead the league in scoring since Michael Jordan, averaging 32 points. It's remarkable. Of course, Embiid, best career of his
in the
NBA as well as for Joel Embiid, 28.5 points, 10.6 rebounds, and 2.8 assists, along with 1.4 blocks. All right, whenever the announcement is made, you'll be getting the name of the winner on the show. Let's go on, still talking basketball, but we're coming to Africa now, the Basketball Africa League. Seen some very interesting results. Not very favorable for Nigeria, though, because the Rivers Hoopers were in action in their second game yesterday against US Monastir. Expectedly, they lost by 29 points, or by a big margin, 29 points. Celia thinks it's not the worst loss in the world.
At least he didn't get
we'll ask Kenny about that shortly. In all the games, FAP, FAP, they were also in action. They lost by 2 points against Petro de Luanda. I talked about Nigeria, USM already. AS Sali and AS Police ended 88-79. Terrell struggling. 40 points,
the first player to do that
in a ball this season. Take a ball wherever you are. Kenny, over to you. What do you make of the Rivers Hoopers' performance against USM yesterday? I mean, it was always going to be a tough task, but how did you think they got on with the job?
Yeah, it was an improved display. Forget about the results. I believe it's better than what we saw in the first game. I saw a couple of tweets from Nigerians, slamming Hoopers for their performance against USM yesterday. But I believe as long as this team are improving every game, that is what we want to see. First of all, look at the little time they had to group. They had about 2-3 weeks before the competition, and there is no rocket science. You cannot win a competition if your team is lacking that chemistry.
Okay. All right, you're just seeing pictures from that game, highlights from the game between USM and Rivers Hoopers. And as you mentioned, the way they started, they had to force the Rivers Hoopers to a lot of turnovers, and all the US men and CSL both on court, scoring 45 points on 3-pointers. I mean, which was ridiculous. Kenny's back. Join us now. Kenny. Yeah, continue from where you said. We are talking about the fact that, the River Supers didn't have chemistry. They haven't played games. We know the league is not functioning. They had 4 foreign-based players joining them. And one of them, Christopher Daniels, he was awesome, having 29 points, the highest on the night himself. And, of course, Ben Uzo combined for 45 points for the Hoopers.
Yeah, for Christopher Daniels, what a performance from him yesterday. I think, I love the fact that I don't know whatever he told this guy, he should just keep telling him because he can improve this play. 25 points, 11 rebounds, and he was shooting 4-7 from the 3-point line and 5-6 from through lines. That's a near perfect performance coming from a certain Christopher Daniels. And if you can see individuals performing like this, okay, look at what Ben Uzo did. The first game he had 12 points. The second game he had 20 points. That's 32 points in 2 games. In terms of point per game, is the highest in that team. Not that you can't take away the experience of Ben Uzo. But look at other local guys. I think other local guys are not really gelling well. That's one. Rivers Hoopers side. Other local guys are not gelling well. Terrence Sullivan had his own touch, but it can still be better. But I love the fact that the Hoopers improved against US Monasteries. If they have played them first, they're talking about Hoopers beating Detroit. And now I was checking the rankings this morning, the third place rankings. Rivers Hoopers are currently 3rd, and the first 2, the 2 best players from 3 groups, will make it to the next round. So it's actually very, very slim for Hoopers right now, very slim qualifying. I see Zamalek leading the 3rd team, even though they have a game, they have about 2 games to go. I see FAP2 also in 2nd place. Then Rivers Hoopers with a big margin. They have about, I think, minus 48. So it's going to take an emphatic victory against GMBC, to beat, to get through to the next round. So let's just, to be realistic, I think we just forget about Rivers Hoopers making it through to the next round. I wouldn't blame the coach, I wouldn't blame the team, but I'm going to blame the organization of basketball here in Nigeria. We know what happened. We know how the league has been. They have been in activity for about 3-4 years now, which is very terrible. Basketball is a top sport in this country. Look at the Tigers. Look at the Tigers. Look at how they are faring when it comes to the game. And that team sport, which, your national teams are doing well. You are not doing well when it comes to the league. It's so shameful. I think, Rivers Hoopers did well. Right. Not a good representative, but I hope lessons will be learned from the outing.
Yeah, Kenny, I know you have a lot to say concerning basketball in Nigeria and the way it's being run, which is definitely not the best. But you need to hold your thoughts for a couple of minutes. We need to go on this break. We'll come back. We'll let you conclude your thoughts on Channel Sport this morning.
Another loss, but I think we did a lot better today than we did in the first game. We talked a lot on defense. We executed a whole lot better than we did in the first game, and of course we were a lot disciplined today too on everything that we did. Tough game. The Tunisian team is one of the better teams in the tournament right now. And it's no surprise that they won. It would have been a surprise if we won, but hey, we put up a good fight and we're getting better. And hopefully by the next game, we'll be a lot more better.
Those guys came out and did what they were supposed to do. Hopefully we can come out and do a better job in our next game. They have 41 points off of turnovers and fast break points. That's pretty much the game right there. So they did a great job. I don't want to take nothing away from those guys. They did a good job. We got to step it up.
All right, then got to listen to Ogo Daudu. That's the coach of the River Supers. Very, very honest assessments of his team's capabilities against the superpower of USM. Of course, Chris Daniels as well too did very well on the night. 25 points, 11 rebounds to Celia, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. And if only the Hoopers had players like Chris Daniels and Ben Uzo and Terrence Sullivan, all over the park. I mean, no disrespect to all
the
these local
boys at
players,
home, yes.
but we know the issues already. Those guys have not played competitive basketball in a while.
2 years, yeah.
In 2 years or
so
more. So, of course, they were never going to be able to measure up against the best from around Africa, and that's what.
And playing against the Tunisian national team was always going to be difficult. That's why the coach said that he would have been surprised if they had won. Yeah. I love the fact that he's honest with what he had to say, but I love the improvement. That third quarter. I mean, Kenny, we're talking about the fact that in the final quarter, the third and the final quarter, they kind of improved. And Tyre was saying that, look, because they took their foot off the pedal. But then, if they had started the way they played in that third quarter, if they had started like that, just maybe it could have been a different result. But against GMBC, what can they do? Because GMBC lost to Monastir by as much as 47 points. So no matter what happens, even if they're not going to go through to the quarterfinals with the best losers, as we mentioned earlier, it simply means they need to win at least to get out, you know, put their heads up high with pride, because they are the kingmakers, right? That's their nickname.
Yeah, just like you said, the third quarter and the fourth quarter, I saw an improved Rivers Super side. Okay, not just that. The first game, they had 66 points. Second game, they had 70 points. Okay, the first game, out of 34 3-pointers attempted, they had 6. Second game, out of 23, they had 6. So they were improvement from the first game to the second game. So we should expect something better in the third game. It was quite obvious that if these guys have been together for some time, they will do better than they are performing now. You know, I saw a very promising Rivers Super side, and I saw a very improved Chris Daniels. He was very active from both ends. He shot 25-11, that's 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 4-7 from 3-point range. I mentioned that earlier. He had 2 steals, that's a whole lot, and a block. So when you see a player performing like that, and he did not do that in the first game, which means something is really happening. There is a change that is happening. But the thing is that the change is actually coming late. You mentioned earlier, the qualification is very, very tricky. Okay, now, if they should beat GMBC, they are not guaranteed that third place out of the 2 teams. You know, I was checking the standings this morning. Zamalek still have 2 games, and they are currently third, number 1 team, followed by FAP, who are also third in their own group. They're also number 2 team now. Rivers Supers are third in this one. So they will need an emphatic victory against GMBC. When I say emphatic, I mean a big score victory against GMBC to ensure they make it to the next round. But it's very tricky. The Kingsmen are not doing too badly. I don't want to fall into one of Nigerians saying that, I mean, they had a very bad game against US Monastir. They faced a better side. But look at what GMBC did against GMBC in the first game. Against Monastir in the first game. Yeah. They only managed, I think they managed 66.2 in that one, over 113. So Rivers restricted them to just 29. So it's a whole lot, and which means the team is actually improving. So I'm looking forward to that game against GMBC. If we're not going to qualify, at least win a bad game for the first time and make history. Come back home, make some corrections, and go again next year.
All right, Kenny Bamidele, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hopefully on Sunday, 1 p.m. Nigerian time, the Rivers Hoopers will make us proud and we'll have something to cheer on Monday. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, yeah, just go there and win your last game and come back home as the kingmakers, right? Okay.
I don't know about king-making or anything here. Just you know, finish the competition without
on a high.
On a high, yeah, straight. That's
just the Madagascar side. Just spit them, okay?
Yeah. All right. Let's get on with the show now. Cecilia, it's time to talk about the Nigerian Professional Football League Match Day 22. Still a while to go, but we're starting to see the title contenders come to the fore. I believe actually the Aqua United will contend for this title all the way to the end of the season with what I've seen from them in the last few games. I don't know why you're smiling. Maybe
we have so many games.
Yeah, but
we have so many games. So many games.
We played 22 already. So how many is the got left?
We've played 21.
Okay, we're going to have 22 this weekend.
22 this weekend. It's 38 games.
Yeah, so that's
you have 8 plus 8. That's like you 16. Have after this one. So after this weekend, so you have like 16 more games to go. 16. That's too much for you to start talking about title contenders. Yes, title contenders.
Title contenders.
But you know, Nigeria Professional Football League, the 10th place team can actually go to top. What they have to do, just maybe win 2 games and the first 2 drop some points. And it always happens like that because of how close the points are. Let's take a look at the match day 22 fixtures for this weekend, starting with Katsina United and Kano Pillars. They will be in action. Kano Pillars, of course, managed to beat Adamawa by a lone goal. Yes, I use the word manly because that's what happens to be a team at the bottom. You had Ahmed Musa, of course, Rabiu Ali, everyone played. And they even missed a penalty in that, and the goal did not come till about 84th minute. So Kano Pillars will have their work cut out in this one. For Nasarawa and Heartland,
and we hear, sorry to cut you there, we hear Ahmed Musa is going to be available for the trip to Katsina.
Okay, he's traveling.
All right. He's going to do it.
Great.
The coach said he's available. That's all I heard.
All right. Because there was this, people were a bit skeptical. Can he travel, on the road to other states when they're playing? But we don't, well, I don't know why they were skeptical about that. He's a player. He's a professional player. Of course, he wants to ensure that Kano Pillars can, not just compete, but also win the league this season. The position right now, they're second on the log, so which is, the position second on the log.
Second, Pillars are second.
Same points with Aqua United. So not bad. Aqua United are up just because of goal difference, 15 and 8. That's what it's like. For Plateau United and Wiki Tourists, they went away to Kwara the last time they lost. So they're playing at home. Yes, the coach have always talked about them wanting to win all their home games. Hopefully they can win this one against Wiki Tourists and climb up, because right now their position is not pretty at all. Where do we have Plateau United? When you're looking for them, 11th. Yes, just have to check. The first half, they're not there. The second half of the table, that's where Plateau United are. For Wiki Tourists, the position 5th. So it should be a good win for Plateau United. If they can pull this off, they will move up a little bit on the table. For Rivers and Abia Warriors, I tell you, we're asking about that dangling that was
carrots,
there. Okay, we need to check if that carrot has been given to them. That way, victory. That they go. But this time around, they're welcoming Abia Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most informed team at a point. But yeah, after the break, they've not really continued that kind of run they had.
Yeah, the momentum was kind of affected.
But 12th place now.
Yeah, should be a tricky game for Rivers, but we expect them to get a job done in that one as well. So Aqua United, the leaders and Rangers match of the weekend, no doubt whatsoever, is first taking on 6th. Wow. We'll see how that pans out at the end of 90 minutes plus extra time. In other fixtures, Jigawa Golden Stars versus the Kada FC lost at home against their neighbors, Aqua United. They'll be looking to bounce back in Jigawa. FC Ifeanyi Uba will take on Sunshine Stars. MFMFC versus Lobby Stars on the back of that fantastic away victory in Warri for MFM. They would like to consolidate by getting a victory against Lobby Stars. And last but not the least, is Adamawa.
And Warri Wolves. Warri Wolves have a new technical advisor now. The management was.
So we expect a new manager bounce for Warri Wolves, and we'll see if they can get the job done. I was still talking football in Nigeria, and this time around, let's talk about the CAF Confederation Cup. Enyimba will attempt to overturn a 1-4 deficit against Pyramids FC of Egypt. That's in the quarterfinals of the CAF Confederation Cup. Cecilia, I know a lot of people have written Enyimba off and see absolutely no chance of them doing it.
That's why it's a bit muted.
Yeah, no one is really talking about it because there's really no hope out there. But I mean, stranger things have happened. I know it's very, very unlikely. Let's keep it real. It's very unlikely for this Enyimba side, what we've seen of them this season, especially recently, to score 3 goals without conceding against a fantastic Pyramid side that were one of the favorites to go all the way in the CAF Confederation. But what more can we say other than to wish them all the best? Perhaps we'll begin to see
so much needed.
The miracle
of Aba.
In Aba. Perhaps we will, but it's very unlikely. But all the best to Enyimba.
All the best to them. If they started the way they started away from home in Egypt, if they start like that in Aba, I think it will be a good one. Scoring first,
early
and
goal,
then put the pressure on them. Just rush out, just fast breaks and see what you can do to them. Try and nullify them in the first half, and don't wait till the final moment. If they can do that, just talking easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you read my mind.
But we've seen teams, coming out, on fire, trying as much as possible, put the pressure, then the goals start rolling in, and once the goals start rolling in, you might just be lucky. I mean, I'm trying to remember Barcelona and Chelsea in the Women's Champions League final. You can start like that and just be lucky, and the goals come in. Luck on your side, the miracle happens. You can overturn that. Score 3 goals in first half.
Let's get on with it.
All right.
Let's get on with it. Cecilia, we'll come back on Monday and talk about that NNL before we go on to our next guest that was ready to join us from London. The NNL, Nigeria National League, they
Most important league in the country. Yes, NNL match day 15. Let's roll this. We'll start with Group A1. The games we have for this weekend: Green Beret and FC Taraba, Gombe United and Economy Warriors also in action. Shokoto and NAF will also be in action this weekend. You have all the games, Rara and Oyo Sports International, and you'll get that game to look out for this weekend. And we'll go to A2, where you have Shakaru and Monofashi in action, DMD and Kebbi United, Road Safety and Yobe as the Stars, Niger Tornadoes and Zafra United. You have ABS and Kogi United will also be in action this weekend. And B1 in the South, Rovers, Calabar Rovers and Ocean United, Vandreza and Gold Round will be in action. That's in Lagos. Agege, Delta Force and Dynamite Force, Ekiti United and Giant Brillas, Nnewi United and Stationary Stores will also be in action this weekend. And continuing with B2, Atete and as Crown and Ibom Youth, Benda Insurance and Godoski, Poly Arrows and Abia Comets, Gateway United and Bayesi United are the games to look out for on match day 15 fixtures of the Nigerian National League season, the most important one in the country. All right, that's it for the NNL this season. And quickly, we go to the English Premier League. It's going to be a smart finish, or rather a rush on Sunday, because three teams are battling to stay. Yeah, three teams are battling to stay in the top four. You still have Chelsea, Leicester, and Liverpool. Leicester is the team that likely not going to make it. The others are there. All they need to do just win their games and they stay up. But Ada will be joining us this morning to talk about the English Premier League this morning. Ada Peters. Ada, good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning, Sissy. Good morning, Taya. It's good to be on the show.
Great to have you. Quickly, we'll just take a look at the fixtures for this weekend. Yes, all the games will be played at the same time, so you wouldn't want to, like, what should I be watching? Okay, let's take a look at the Arsenal, Brighton, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Fulham, Newcastle, Leeds, West Brom, Leicester, and Tottenham. And flip over to the other sides, other games also for this weekend, where you have, of course, you have Manchester United also be in action. You have Liverpool also in action, and Liverpool. Then you also have other games
Man
like
City,
Man
Everton.
City. Yeah.
Everton, that's
Everton, Man City, Everton. That's the one you're looking at.
Everton still have a chance of going into Europe. There's also Sheffield, Burnley. That's pretty much a dead rubber affair. West Ham, Southampton, as well as Wolves versus Manchester United. Another dead rubber affair there.
Leicester and Tottenham.
Yeah, Leicester and Tottenham, of course. Talked about that already. Ada, okay, let's get your thoughts quickly on what's likely to happen on Sunday. Three teams, of course, Leicester, Liverpool, and who's the other side again? Trying to qualify for the for Champions League. Leicester, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Those three teams will. But let's take a look at their games specifically now. For Chelsea, they play at Aston Villa. For Liverpool, it's a very straightforward game, you'd say, against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
But you never know. You know, we've seen stranger results, especially this season. Leicester seem to have the toughest fixture against Tottenham.
Yes, it's going to be a dramatic end to the season. I remember when Arsene Wenger said finishing top four is like winning a trophy. You know how people were, he was quite derided for saying things like that, but we can see it playing out these days. Everybody wants to finish top four. In the context of fans coming back to the stadium, I just feel the tricky fixture could actually be Chelsea going up to Birmingham to play Aston Villa. That could actually be a tricky one. And in the when they played earlier in the season, Chelsea failed to beat Aston Villa. It was a 1-1 draw. So that could be a tricky one for Chelsea. They should, on paper, they should beat Aston Villa, but you shouldn't write off the part of the fans on the final day of the season. At Anfield for Liverpool, I feel that the fans should be able to carry them over the 90, at least to get the 3 points. They need the 3 points. If they get the 3 points, no matter what happens, they secure a spot. And as for Leicester and Tottenham, Harry Kane is going to be in the mix. He's considering leaving Tottenham. He'll try to obviously win the Golden Boot. He's tied on 22 goals with Mo Salah, and he has put the interests of the club, ahead of his own personal individual interests to leave Tottenham on a high, etc. So it could be another tricky game.
Do we have the slide for the?
Okay, I mean, it's going to be tricky, as you've said. And looking at Leicester, Tottenham, Harry Kane might just want to put up a good performance, since he's likely going to be leaving.
Yeah.
But then, for the first time in a long while, we are talking about teams that will make the top 4. We're not even talking about Arsenal. How do you feel about this?
Very interestingly, but yeah, I mean, when you talk about the inaugural Europa Conference League and how Arsenal might be considering, it's out of Arsenal's hands as far as that is concerned, because Tottenham still sits 7th and Everton sits 8th, so they have to win at home to Brighton, and obviously we hope that Tottenham lose to Leicester and Everton lose to Man City, the winners. So that's the picture for Arsenal at the moment. But I just feel Liverpool go through in terms of the top 4. Liverpool should go through between Chelsea and Leicester. Chelsea still have a lifeline. They played Champions League, so they have that lifeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, it's Liverpool, then Chelsea, or Leicester City?
Yes, I feel Liverpool is in. Liverpool will make it. They'll get the 3 points.
Okay, all right then. We'll see. You want to say something?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, before we leave the English Premier League, Ruben Diaz, has been named the Player of the Year. Football Writers a Player of the Year. He's a defender. Do you think it was the right choice?
I'm very, very excited to see Ruben Diaz winning this award, because I just remember just before he was signed, I think it's their record signing or something, tied with Rodri at Manchester City. Just before he was signed from Benfica, they actually shipped 5 goals at home to Leicester City, and that wasn't good for Man City at all. So since he came, he has shored up the defense, and they've become almost impeccable. They only considered, I think, 30-odd goals this season. He kept 14 clean sheets of his own, and if you check, he has 0 errors leading to goals, 0 red cards. His keeper has 18 clean sheets. Ederson has a golden glove for the season. You have to look at also, even outside the Premier League, his performances in the Champions League as well. In terms of his partnership with John Stones, it has really thrived. They are looking very formidable there in the back at Manchester City. And looking at the tactics from Pep playing without a number 9 this season, you just have to give it to Ruben. He did very well, and he proved that transfer fee that they paid Benfica for him, and Otamendi going the other way, in part payment for him as well to Benfica. So I applaud it definitely, and congratulations to the young star.
Yeah, congratulations indeed to Ruben Diaz, just 24 years old, first defender to win this particular award since Liverpool's Steve Nicol back in 1989. We need to go on a break now. Adapters is still with us. So when we come back, we'll be getting your thoughts on the title races in Spain and France. Join us again.
Obviously, it means something else because normally the ones who finish the place are the ones getting the spotlights. But I think me receiving this prize is the major example of our team, the way our team works, the way we build our game, and I think it reflects all the togetherness we have in the pitch, and essentially that how we perform, the spirit that is in the team, and with this team, with these players, for me to be receiving this award. I think it means just that, just how we play like a family.
There you go, Ruben Diaz, your FW Football Writers Player of the Year, ahead of the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Harry Kane. £65 million spent on this very, very good defender from Benfica. And it's safe to say it's worth every penny. Ada Peters is still with us. We're going to where the titles race is still on in Europe. Let's touch down, first of all, in Spain, where we have the two Madrid side going into the final day with still a chance of winning La Liga. Ada, how do you see this playing out? Because if you look at the table involving those two teams, Atletico have 83 points, while Real Madrid have 81. But Atletico go away to Valladolid. Valladolid still trying to survive. They have a lot to play for in La Liga, while Real Madrid take on Villarreal at home. So how do you see it playing out at the end of Sunday? Who's going to be the champion?
Yeah, it's a very tricky one, to be very honest. On paper, it's looking like the table would end the way it is right now. It seems as if Atletico should be able to pull through to the very last day. Even if they are away to a struggling side, they should be able to bring out that extra push, just for the very last day, just like they did in their last game with Luis Suarez scoring that very, very crucial goal towards the end of the game. So I know Real Madrid have a much more difficult fixture against Unai Villarreal Chukwueze's team. Although they are home, but that could actually be a tougher game to win for them. So I feel that.
The table will remain the same.
Saturday.
All right, then. So let's just say that the first tiebreaker in Spain is the head-to-head point. So if Real Madrid, let's say, perhaps going to win their game, they'll be on 84 points, and Atletico draw, they'll be on 84 points. If it stays that way, Real Madrid will be champions because they have the better head-to-head over Atletico Madrid, but we'll see how that pans out. Let's quickly talk now, lastly, before we let you go. In France, who would have ever thought that PSG would be in a title race on the final day? I mean, normally they should have wrapped up the league, but that's not the case because Lille are right on top of the league right now going into the final day. PSG are second, while Monaco are third. And that was going to win this one.
It's a very tricky one. Both of them go away. They have their last games of the season are away games to more or less mid-table teams.
So yes,
1 point separate both teams, and it's just going to go down to the wire on that day. I'm not really sure how it's going to pan out, to be honest.
Come on.
I just feel that Lille have, for the better part of the season, been on top of the one. They have sustained their lead, and it will really be kind of heartbreaking for their fans to lose. It will be more like a steal for PSG, but that just contributes to the excitement. But I will hold out for Lille, although I wouldn't be surprised if PSG steal it.
Interesting. So Lille,
all they have to do is win.
Just win by half a goal. That doesn't matter. Just find a way to squeeze the ball in the net.
No draw. Just win, and the title is yours.
Exactly.
It's easy. All right, Ada Peters, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. It was nice to be on the show.
All right.
All right, cheers on that. Okay, Cecilia, before we quickly look at the papers,
take some tweets.
While you're checking for the tweets as well, too, we have updates from the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury World Heavyweight Championship. The trilogy is happening. Terms have been agreed for the fight scheduled for July the 24th. That's in Las Vegas. The site is still yet to be determined. The purses are split 60-40 in favor of Fury, of course. It's the champion. So we'll keep an eye on that particular situation. And when we have the official confirmation, we'll let you know.
So keep it that July 24th trilogy is happening.
Yeah, whether you like it or not. Yeah.
Watch it. A tweet. Noble Flyerman says, let's be clear. Eyimbe so not deserve to be in the quarterfinals in the first place. Fatah Asho should be fired as he has shown no technical know-how with the team. I see them losing again at home. Wow. Horrible performance. That's their definition. Oh, come on, Noble Flyerman. You're so harsh this morning.
Very harsh this morning.
Gerard Okuku says, I see our Made in Niger boys making it to the Champions League. He's talking about Leicester City. Yeah, all Chelsea and Liverpool have to do is for them to lose. Why they will win. That's it. I mean, they win their game. Why hoping Liverpool or Chelsea
drop points?
So it's not in their hands at all. AGK Eze says, I don't see Enyimba turning their deficit around, but fingers crossed. Chelsea will end season on a high. Man City, wait for your turn. What are you saying? That's the Champions League. He's already talking about that. Jared Cook also talked about Enyimba needs all the gods of soccer to be on their side. They need 3 reply goals that can only be by a miracle.
They're going to need the sun and the stars and the moon to align, you know, to get past the pyramids.
All right, Lord Alpha says Liverpool is a better representative in the UEFA Champions League than Leicester for England because Leicester can't stand the heat of the league.
Come on.
Interesting. Enyimba may win on Sunday in Aba, but they won't eliminate Pyramids at last. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and son of Patrick's actually asking, who are you calling Kingsmen? These guys weren't even trying to hoop. Come on, they're Kingsmen. The River Supers, they had 70 points. That's great.
That's their nickname. That's the alias.
Kingsmen happens to be their nickname, okay? We're not just praising them for that. It's their nickname, Kingsmen.
Yeah.
The Kingsmen. Our papers now. Yeah. Sporting Sun, I started with this one. Ahead of Europa League final, you have Chukwueze declares himself fit.
Yeah, okay, pictures of him in training.
Miraculous recovery from injury.
Seen him in training. But that's not to say...
When you're playing the Champions League, Europa League final, you want to do everything.
You want to be a part of it, but that's not to say he's going to play. Yeah. But he's back in training, which gives him a very good chance of making it.
Sporting Sun, Sporting Life, the next one. Errol reveals Euro clubs may stop Eagles players for Mexico friendly because it's in July and, of course, maybe pre-season and all that. So. Well, that's what he's thinking. All right? Kelechi Iheanacho said, I wish my mom was here. Yeah, I mean, he lost the mother when he was just 16. I mean,
Okay. Let's go to Complete Sports as the last paper for review. Simi tip for EPL move. That's the Simi Nwankwo.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
20 goals in Serie A. Crotone are down, so I'm sure he won't stay in Serie B. Moses, it's been a long time we heard about Victor Moses. He is actually going to leave Chelsea finally for Spartak Moscow. That deal has been agreed already. Manchester United, Man City is keen to sign 15 million euro Chukwuemeka. That was the young star that came on for Aston Villa over the weekend. During midweek for Aston Villa against Tottenham. Kane claims he will decide Spurs' future, not Levy. We'll see how that situation plays out at the end of the season.
Right.
So many other interesting stories on Complete Sports. But that's where we have to
wrap it up.
Yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend. I am Tayo Salam.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. See you again on Monday.